Hey everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Startup Talks. Today we're covering 3 freshly funded startups: AI-driven industrial robotics, a B2B analytics layer for Salesforce, and a social network built specifically for professional chefs. Let's get into it. Alright, first up is Anvil Robotics out of the US. They just closed a $5.5 million seed round, and they're building AI-powered bimanual robotic arms for industrial manufacturing, assembly, inspection, that kind of work.
What caught my attention right away on their site is that they have a GitHub repo and a Discord community. That's a very deliberate signal. These guys are building for developers first, not enterprise procurement teams.
Exactly. And the demo video is genuinely impressive. Futuristic-looking arms, very polished. But when you pause on it, you realize the footage shows a human operator controlling the arms with haptic gloves, not autonomous AI. That distinction matters.
Right. The teleoperation is actually the data collection phase. Humans perform tasks. The AI platform learns from those sessions. So right now, it's less autonomous robot and more data engine wearing robot clothes.
The software dashboard is real though. Live camera feeds, 3D replay, action insights, sensor data streams. It's a genuine software platform sitting on top of the hardware. That's a meaningful moat if they can make it work.
The clients listed on the site: NVIDIA, Google, University of Toronto, Georgia Tech, are almost certainly DevKit buyers or research partners, not production customers, which is fine, but let's not confuse that with enterprise traction.
And $5.5 million is thin for hardware robotics. A single arm costs around 30 kels in parts alone before you even think about engineers who can actually build and tune these systems.
Boston Dynamics spent years and hundreds of millions building proprietary stacks. Elon Musk tried to assemble Optimus from off-the-shelf components and kept running into walls. There's a reason everyone in this space ends up building everything from scratch.
The bear case is also about the factory floor reality. Real industrial automation in BMW plants, in Chinese factories. It's 2 or 3-axis deterministic mechanisms doing one thing perfectly, not 24 degree of freedom arms learning on the fly. Universal solutions don't survive contact with actual production environments.
Every factory needs extreme customization. The robot that works in one assembly line doesn't transfer to the next one without serious rework. So the question is whether Anvil is building a research tool or an actual production system.
My red. They're building a data collection platform right now. The autonomous AI decision-making isn't visible on the site yet. It's a fascinating research phase company, worth watching closely, but not yet a production-ready business.
Agreed, and at $5.5 million, they've given themselves hands but not head and legs. They'll need a lot more capital to get to production scale.
Second startup is Autyvia, also from the US. They're a B2B AI analytics platform targeting mid-market companies, specifically AEC, architecture, engineering, and construction. 2 products, something called the Wedge, which is automated CRM intelligence, and the Moneyball Stack, a strategic decision layer on top of Salesforce.
The site was built on Lovable. You can see it from the favicon, which tells you a lot about where they are. They're pre-seed, 50K raised, 2 founders, waitlist only.
The AEC niche is actually sensible. Salesforce is widely used even in construction, and these companies are underserved by analytics tooling, so the focus makes sense.
The remora fish strategy, attach yourself to a large platform, ride its distribution, is a legitimate early-stage GTM move. No company wants to rip out Salesforce, so if your product sits cleanly on top, you get access to their entire install base.
The fragility is that you don't own the clients. Salesforce itself can wake up one morning and ship the same feature. They already have Einstein Analytics and Marketing Cloud. The moment they decide to compete, you're toast.
And the analytics market is brutal, decade-old vendors with sticky enterprise contracts. European buyers especially want million-euro relationships with companies that have been around for 10 years, not a custom MCP integration from a two-person team.
At its core right now, the product is a Salesforce extension app. That's not a moat. There's nothing proprietary, no unique data, no patents, no exclusive relationships. Being first to build this doesn't protect you for long.
The 50K pre-seed is actually the right call though. That keeps founders hungry and scrappy. A $1 million round at this stage would just paper over weak fundamentals.
Conceptually valid niche, but the defensibility story isn't there yet. They need to get a real moat before the platform they're riding on copies them or crowns a competitor. Third one is LineCook, also US-based. It's an invite-only mobile app, still in test flight beta. That's essentially a social network for culinary professionals, chefs, food producers, food sellers. $2.3 million pre-seed raised.
The culinary world has a very specific dynamic. There's a Gordon Ramsay effect. Chefs are celebrity adjacent, aspirational. It's a world where professional identity is deeply tied to craft and to community. That actually makes it a more interesting niche than food app sounds.
What I care about most here is the founder's track record. They previously built Recover Athletics, which was acquired by Strava. Strava integrated the user base. That's not a coincidence. These people know how to build a community product to a successful exit.
And that's probably exactly why they got 2.3 million. With minimal traction data, investors at pre-seed are betting on the team. A Strava acquisition in your background is a meaningful signal.
The bear case is that food and cooking apps are one of the most overcrowded categories in mobile. Hundreds of attempts since 2011. Without a clear viral mechanism, growth is unpredictable and performance marketing won't work at this stage.
And AI plus social network plus food is very close to keyword stacking. You need a second order motivation for users to actually share and invite. Strava's viral loop works because white collar professionals share fitness activity to signal lifestyle. It attracts like-minded people, builds a community of trust, and compounds. What's the equivalent for chefs?
A chef inviting another chef needs a specific psychological reason: exclusivity, professional status, access to something they can't get elsewhere. The invite-only test flight mechanic is smart, but that's mechanics, not motivation.
The product concept is crowded, the viral story isn't fully formed yet, but the founders have done this before. That's enough to justify the bet at 2.3 million.
My verdict is undecided. I want to see traction data and a clearer answer on the viral mechanic before I form a real opinion. The team credentials are there. The product still needs to prove itself. Zooming out, there were a few things that ran through all three of these today.
Hardware robotics is a capital-intensive, customization-heavy space. Universal solutions fail in production. You need either deep vertical focus or enough capital to build a proprietary stack from scratch. $5.5 million doesn't get you there.
Analytics is commoditized. If you're building on top of someone else's platform, your moat has to be structural. Patents, proprietary data, exclusive relationships, platform lock-in. Being first to ship an MCP server is not a moat.
And viral mechanics require second-order motivation. A share button is not a growth strategy. Users share when sharing feels valuable to them. Status, belonging, accountability. That specific psychological driver has to be designed in, not bolted on.
Right. And on the funding side, At pre-seed with no traction, investors are betting on the founders. LineCook gets its $2.3 million because of the Strava exit behind it. Autyvia gets $50K because it's the right size to keep them honest.
Right sizing the round matters. Too much money at the wrong stage buys you comfort instead of urgency.
That's all for today. Thanks for listening and see you in our next episode of Startup Talks.